Let's get this thing fired up, baby. Come on.
Matt, good to see you here today. We are episode 1 of hopefully a lot here on called Greenbrier Valley Sports Talk.
Exactly.
I'm Brandon Baker, sports editor, West Virginia Daily News. You're the IT tech guy at Reno Medical Center and just a jack of all trades type with a lot more things you do than that. I don't even know how you had time to make it here today, honestly, but we appreciate you being here, and hopefully the rest of the time as well.
I appreciate the company I work for. If it wasn't for my company, I wouldn't be able to. So appreciate you. But yeah.
We're going to talk mainly sports here on obviously GV Sports Talk. We can get into some other issues as well. Anything that's interesting going on in the community or anywhere around town, whatever, we can always touch on that if we need to. And yeah, so that's where we are. Episode 1 of many.
Let's go. I'm excited. Let's get this thing fired up, baby. Come on.
All right, let's start out. We're going to talk Greenbrier. It's regional play basketball. So let's start out. I'll let you talk about Greenbrier West girls basketball since you went there, you played there, you got family to play there.
Yeah.
Let's hear your thoughts on Greenbrier West here the last couple of weeks and going into the regional.
Yeah. First of all, let's get this thing started with the girls. We'll start out with the girls first because they have 2 absolute studs on their team.
They play tonight.
Yes, they do, and I'm super excited about that. You got Treadway and you've got Maddie Fields as well, which both of them are amazing, averaging over 10 points a game apiece. Both 1,000-point scorers. You're not going to see that very often. You very rarely see a 1,000-point scorer, much less 2 players with 1,000 points on the same team.
And one, Treadway, all-time leading scorer in the school's history.
You're never going to see that very often at all. But here's one crazy thing, though, that I want everybody watching, everybody listening to pay attention to. Briley Redden is a absolute key for them. If they're going to make a deep postseason run and be able to get out of this regional play, they're going to have to go through Briley because you have to have that third scorer that steps up, whether she's rebounding, whether she's driving to the hole, shooting. Because she had 3 threes in one quarter last game, whoever they played, and it was a really good game. So I'm excited to see how she does with the rest of the regional play. So
yeah, and when I was introduced to Briley Redden a couple years ago, she was a freshman and just awesome at softball. Pitcher, just completely awesome. We did stories on her. We had a bunch of pictures on her. We always shared Facebook things on her here at the West Virginia Daily News. But now I feel like she's a huge key, maybe even the biggest key player for them to make a basketball state tournament run. Yes. She's really picked it up the last couple of weeks.
Exactly. Because, first of all, this team is not a team with a ton of depth. They don't have very many girls coming off the bench. And that's because, 1, a lot of the team is young. And number 2, they quite frankly just don't have a lot of girls playing on their basketball.
They're a 3-headed monster. They are.
Yes, they are, for real. Which means that those centers, such as Treadway and Fields, they can play in the paint a little bit, but they have to do a little bit of everything. So Redden being able to take that load off of them makes it a little bit more easy for them to ease into the offense, being able to make their sets and also be able to do good defensively, which is something that they struggled with a little bit at the beginning of the year, but they're getting a lot better at it now. So, and also Treadway, I've fallen in love with her mid-range shot, dude. I don't know if you've seen it. Dude,
when they played East here a couple weeks ago, she knocked down several little foul line extended jumpers.
It was like 50 of them. Dude, I was like, what is this? Yep. She would catch that little shot at the elbow, or she would be in transition instead of taking it all the way to the hole, and everybody would be like, Presley, what are you doing? And she's like, nope, let me go ahead and hit this.
And nails it every time.
And I knock on wood because I don't want to jinx her. I do not know if I've seen her miss one, and I'm being serious. I've watched her do 4 or 5 games shooting that mid-range shot consistently, and she's got it down. So you can tell that it's something that she has been practicing in the offseason. And it's huge, dude. Absolutely huge. So we'll see how they end up doing with the rest of their season and especially their game. And I'm going to do a little bit of a small recap against their game against Richwood. So first things first, that's why I was mentioning Briley. I believe it was the second quarter, if I'm not mistaken, when she hit those 3 threes. That was that thing that brought them away from Richwood, even though it was a 48-point victory. They were able to not only dominate Richwood, they were able to beat them on all aspects of the ball. Yeah. And that is one huge thing that I say whenever a team is trying to beat another team. You have to out-rebound them, and you have to turn over the ball way less than they do. So, and that's exactly what Greenbrier West did. Now,
and they buried Richwood earlier. Their confidence, I think, was just gone after that because that game was 29-2 or something after the first quarter.
Oh, dude,
it was over pretty much when it started.
It wasn't even close. And now, granted, for Richwood, they only have 2 seniors on their team, so they don't have a ton of girls with experience, and they only have 1 junior on the roster as well. So everybody else is sophomores and freshmen. So they're going to be a team that is playing for the future. But at the end of the day, West, I think they're ready for that game tonight against Greater Beckley. I really do think they're ready. So we'll see how that game goes on. We're filming this, by the way, on Wednesday. So Wednesday, it's tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern. So we'll see how that ends up going. But
should be a big crowd. I know a lot of people are urging a lot of people to come out and support them.
Yeah. We'll play a little bit of a ping pong match right here. If you want to, you could go ahead and talk about the East girls if you'd like to, and then I'll run West boys.
Okay.
We'll go from there.
East girls, they're in action Thursday night, tomorrow night against Nicholas County. Nicholas County has a girl. Her name is Adrienne Truman. When I was doing my research on them, she's their big star, averages about 20 points, 7 rebounds, 4 steals a game. They're 8-8 on the year, so they didn't get a whole lot of games in. It was kind of weird. They played 16 games, and East was 21-1, played 22. The Spartans just annihilated Independence when they played them.
Annihilation is an understatement, dude.
34-6 after the first quarter, and I don't even think Independence knew what was even going on. Their coaches were very passionate in the huddle pregame because I sat right behind them. They were telling their girls, we got to go out, we got to out hustle them early, we got to hit them in the mouth early. Well, the complete opposite happened. And once East went inside to Hannah Fuller, the 6'3" center for East, she intimidates teams before they even step on the court. They see her and how tall she is and how long she is, and she does look pretty intimidating. Even to me, when I walk by her,
there's a reason why we're commentators. Yeah. We sit back and we watch greatness unfold. We don't deal with it.
And Hannah's my cousin, so I've known her ever since she was little. Know who she was. But yeah, she intimidated them early. She had 9 points, like 5 rebounds in the first quarter, a couple blocks. And the Independence coaches after that, they just kind of sat down and were like, we're just going to sit here and let them play it out. We've had a good year. We're happy with what we've done, but our season's ending tonight. You could tell that's what they were thinking.
Exactly.
But East put 5 girls in double figures, so they've had a really good game in that opening regional game, and they're going to come in tomorrow night against Nicholas County, I think, with a lot of confidence. And if they can shut down this Truman girl, the sky's the limit for Greenbrier. They should be on a bus to Charleston this time next week.
Oh, dude, I completely agree with that. And one thing that I wanted to mention, 5 girls in double figures. If they would have started those 5 girls the whole game for East, dude, they would have beat Independence with just those girls.
Yeah.
And it's incredible to me that you could put a roster out there, and props to Jim Justice for being able to draw up plays and to be able to get those girls into the scoring. Because in order for you to beat teams, you can't have a 1 or 2 headed monster. You need to have at least 3 people that can score double figures, or at least get a good 8 points in there, because you can't have 1 or 2 girls scoring 50 points every single game. Because they're going to have their off nights. Everybody's human at the end of the day. So
yeah, and if you look at East staff, Kennedy Stewart, don't even talk about her.
Oh gosh.
She's a 1,000-point scorer for East. She's actually well on her way, in my opinion, after next season, because she's a junior now. I think she'll end up in the top 2 or 3 scores all time at East, regardless of male or female. I think she's going to be up there. She's in the top, I believe, 7 or 8 right now, so she's just going to move up. But she's a she's a stud. She averages 18 points a game. Then you got Ava Workman, who's a dog, as Pat McAfee likes to say.
A dog, yes,
a dog. She's always got that look in her eye of. I'm going to get the ball, or I'm going to shut this person down, and ain't nobody going to stop me. And then on offense, she's always got her head up. She's always looking to pass. She can knock down a 3, and she averages 14 points a game, and I believe it's like 5 or 6 assists. So she's always just doing what she needs to do. But their bench, they lost McKenna McClure, who was a starter. Yeah. And her sister's actually the all-time leading scorer for girls at East. Yeah. But they lost McKenna to a knee injury several weeks ago.
Which is terrible.
Yeah. But the girls that stepped in, Alexis Stack and Sandy Banton, are really playing well. They've really filled in well for her. And no offense to McKenna, because if they had her, I would really predict maybe a championship run for them. Yeah. But you honestly... they really haven't missed a beat.
No, they haven't.
Other 2.
Well, I mean, quote me if I'm wrong on this. I believe they're 17-1 right now. Their only losses to Nitro.
21-1.
21-1. Excuse me, East. I'm so sorry, because you guys deserve all the credit.
Greenbrier East victories. And the thing coming from a West guy.
And here's the thing: is the team that they lost to, Nitro, they beat earlier in the season. They flip-flopped back and forth. Yeah. So they haven't faced a team that they can't beat yet. And they have not only, and it's not just words coming out of it, they've proved that on their record. You're not going to have very many teams that are like, oh, we can go out and we're going to beat this team by 20, 30, 50 points even. No, Greenbrier East goes out and they do that every single night. And that's why they're one of the favorite and top 3 in the state right now.
Well, it's funny you say that because I was watching a show, these 4 guys, they were talking about the top 4 contenders in Class AAA girls. They didn't even mention East. One guy mentioned them as a sleeper.
Oh,
so
my
if East
gosh.
can come in with like a chip on their shoulder, I think that's going to help them even more, and they're going to have a good shot to make a deep run in Charleston.
100%. And they got that experience with them too.
Right.
And the crazy part is you were talking about Kennedy Stewart. She's just a junior, dude.
Yeah.
The fact that you have
Plus, she's going to end up in the top 2 or 3.
Yeah, the top 2 or 3 in school history, and she's still going at a high level. Dude, who knows? She might, maybe go D1. You never know.
Yeah. Her size may hurt her.
Yeah, hurt her a little bit.
Her sister, Cadence, just made all conference for
At West Virginia Tech, yeah.
Averaged over 11 points. I think it was a little over 5 rebounds. I looked at her stats. So they can say, even if she's just what her sister is, that's worthy of a scholarship.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to me. I was on the scoreboard with her, and it's absolutely incredible. I'm glad she actually decided to do something with her life other than me just immediately. I was dismissed. But no, I'm glad she's been able to. The Stewart family has been doing so good. And the fact that you have a baller family, they didn't have one baller. They got 2 ballers in there.
Exactly. And that's so rare, especially around here. It's rare to have girls that talented come up and just pretty much mirror each other's career. Like Kennedy's actually trying to chase Cadence for that second spot in scoring.
Yes,
and
exactly.
I think she'll pass her. I'd have to look at the updated numbers, but she was getting pretty close. She's getting pretty close.
She's getting up there.
For a season left, definitely.
Well, we'll move on to the West boys now. Let's do this thing.
Let's hear about it.
So the West boys, the main thing I want to recap on the season, they've struggled with a couple things over the season, which is why they're just 7-13 on their record. First thing and the main big thing, which Coach Rob has addressed them constantly. When I played for him 2 and 3 years ago, he addressed this, and he is addressing it even more now, is the turnovers. West is averaging some of the most turnovers in the state of West Virginia, and you're not going to win games that way. I don't care if you beat them shooting 60% and they shoot 20%. I don't care if you shoot 100% from the free throw line. I don't care if their 6'5" guy, Asher Barkley, their 6'4" guy, Colton Dunbar, throws down 6 dunks every quarter.
Right.
If you turn the ball over 15 plus times a game, you're not going to win basketball games.
What's funny said, not to change the subject, but the West Virginia game last night against Utah, I was texting my dad. Because usually I go to my dad's house and watch games.
Got to, yes.
But I stayed home last night because it was late and I had some work to do anyway. So I texted him. I said, if we didn't have 50 turnovers, we'd be up 20. And because free throws kept Utah in the game. Yeah. And but like you were saying, the turnovers, West Virginia was coming down the court and a couple times just threw it into the stands. And I guess they thought the guy, serving popcorn had a jersey on.
He probably he probably did. Let's be honest. Give West Virginia a little bit of credit. No, just kidding.
No, but they ended up winning. That's all that matters. But anyway, back to West. That just made me popped in my head talking about that because turnovers can kill you.
Dude, 100% it could kill you. Just back on West Virginia super fast. That's why they're top 10 in the nation in defense. But why they're 320 something scoring.
Their offense can be so brutal to watch.
Dude, 100%. But for West, one thing they're having trouble with as well this year is guard penetration. So they have guard Camden Sams on their team. Their little point guard, he's only about 5'8" or 5'9".
Little fella.
Yeah, little fella, and he does a fantastic job at shooting threes. The problem is he's extremely shifty, but he has a little bit of trouble getting open because of his size. Now, granted, he's only a junior, and he has been working on it. I've watched him grow since his freshman year, and he is very, very good at penetrating as much as he can, but somebody else has got to step up and help the man. Now, granted, they had Isaac Agee. Unfortunately, they lost him to the season with a torn ACL in football season.
That was awful.
Oh, dude,
heck of a football player, heck of a track guy, basketball player could have really helped them this year.
And you can't have a player like that. And I didn't mention this for the girls, so I'm going to mention it now. My sister, actually, Abigail Thomas, she got injured, and she was their starting center, which hurt the West girls' depth a lot coming into this season. Yeah. And then that's kind of what happened to the West boys as well. Yeah. They had Isaac Agee, and he was their speed and defensive guy. He would have been a lot better of a penetrator this year because he's had 4 years to work on it. Yep. And then his knee goes out. Yep. And it's like, dude, seriously.
It's like your sister, she was like, we talked about, she was like the garbage player, always getting loose balls, 50-50 balls. She was on the ground getting those, rebounding. She was a dominant rebounder.
You got to have a player like that to win championships, man.
You have to have that utility player.
Yeah, and that's what West right now is looking for. Unfortunately, we're at the end of the season now. There's no more time to waste. You got 2 practices, Wednesday and Thursday. They play Friday against Mount View. If you don't figure out something now, you're done. Your season's over.
Right.
So, but one thing West is going to have to do, one major thing, I want to see Aiden Crane, the senior, pick things up. He shot really, really well against Pocahontas County, giving them that win on senior night, and as well as Dakota McKinney as well. Dakota doesn't get quite as many minutes, but the thing is, those 2 guys, they are going to have to get those 3-point baskets to fall if they're going to continue to turn the ball over and if they're going to continue to not penetrate the ball as well. Mm-hmm. So West is going to have to make something happen along those lines. But a little bit of a recap of that Pocahontas County game that I just mentioned. It was pretty much a back and forth game the whole way, overall for the most part. 13-point game, and that's the most lead that either team had the entire time. Mm-hmm. West led the majority of the game. I don't think Pocahontas County led except for the first 2 minutes of the first quarter. Other than that, Greenbrier West had the ball, and they were taking care of things. But the problem with it was Greenbrier West didn't start making shots until that third quarter, and they were feeding through the inside. And that's when Colton Dunbar had that 20-plus point game, and I think he had, 12
rebounds.
Yeah, 12 rebounds. Yeah, if you can have him do that, and along with Barclay, I don't know if Barclay's back or not for Mountain View yet. I don't think so.
He's been injured?
No, he didn't. He got suspended for 2 games.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he got suspended for 2 games. I believe he's unfortunately out for this Mountain View game, if I'm not mistaken.
So Dunbar have to step up again. They've got that Jawan Jackson from Mount View averages 10 rebounds a game. So
exactly.
He's the inside tower that can really hurt West.
Yes, and then they got Zamir Martin as well, scoring almost 15 points a game.
Right.
So if you can have
guys.
Yes, so basically they're 2-headed monster. The good thing is for West, it seemed like Colton Dunbar came out of his shell whenever Asher wasn't there because he didn't have Asher to lean on. Mm-hmm. So it was pretty much, okay, I have to do things myself.
Yep.
I'm the only big man in the middle right now. And if I don't make something happen, then nothing is going to happen.
Once you get that mindset, that helps not only your play, but helps your confidence. Like, okay, now I have nobody here to lean on or to help, so I got to do it myself. So
the first time he throws down a 2-hand dunk on someone's head, I'm gonna throw it off my headset. I'm just gonna be screaming. I promise. Yeah. But overall, for the Pocahontas County game, Dakota McKinney, he was able to get the McDonald's Player of the Game for Greenbrier West, which is a good thing. But he'll probably get some extra minutes against Mountain View, which he hasn't seen too much of this season. But I'm really excited to see what West is able to do. And also, they got little brother Isaac Crane, who's Aiden Crane's brother. Mm-hmm. Him, I would love to see him penetrate the defense as well. Him and Sams are kind of that point guard, but both of them still have growing to do.
Yes.
Now, the good thing is Isaac is a sophomore, so he's still
got a couple years.
Yep. Exactly. But I want to see him take that leap on Friday against Mountain View. So we'll see what he can do, but I don't know. We'll see. We got a game to watch.
Yeah, Friday night, Greenbrier West, Mountain View. Mm-hmm. Going to be a good first game of the regional, so it'll be exciting to see. Now, switching back to Greenbrier East.
Let's do it.
They're going to play Friday night against Independence, who's 5-12. They actually lost to East twice during the regular season. Big time, 82-44 and 75-48. So
I would love to do it again.
Independence got this 9th grader named Brock Green that impresses me every time. He was really their big star a couple weeks ago when they met. I believe he ended up with, it was like 18 points and like 15 rebounds as a 9th grader. And he's not real tall, but he's broad. He takes up a lot of space inside. Mm-hmm. So he's just going to have to deal with him and not let anybody else on that team, step up and make plays.
Exactly.
So, but I like their chances. And a couple of reasons why I like their chances. Nathan Dixon for Greenbrier East has been off the charts these last 6 games during their 6-game winning streak. They've won 6 in a row to end the year. They finished 14-7. He's knocking down open shots. He likes that left corner and left wing, but he gets to the basket. He does windmill dunks and warm-ups. Mm-hmm. So he's a lot more athletic than maybe what people would think when they come out there and see him. But he's really played well, averaging over about 21, 22 points a game these last 6. Always seems to be the leading scorer. Mm-hmm. When they're in a slump, that's who they look to hit a shot, and I swear he seems to always hit it. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, coming from a West End guy, he looks like a slender guy that would maybe get some rebounds, and maybe occasionally make the layup every now and then, maybe throw down a small to absolutely not.
Yeah.
Nathan has one of the cleanest mid-range shots I have ever seen in high school
He
sports.
does.
And I am not saying that just because this is a podcast.
Right.
He has a smooth mid-range jump.
Right.
So I absolutely love it.
I have an interview coming with him. Everybody check it out.
There's a reason why. Yes.
WVDN.com. We'll have an interview posted later this evening.
Mm-hmm.
But even besides him, and even besides Brody Hamrick, who stirs the drink as a point guard, 6'3", about 170, long, athletic. The play inside of Braylon Godfrey. He's 6'4", about I think he lists about 220, 225. Another one that can throw it down with ease. His dominance inside and the way he's controlled the paint these last 6 games. It started against Lewis County a few weekends ago. I think it was February 8th. They beat Lewis County. Dixon had 32 points in that game, but Godfrey really started to come out of his shell, and the confidence of those two has just continued to grow.
Yes.
But Godfrey has really controlled the inside, and that's opened up a lot of things on the outside for Dixon and Hamrick and Reed McCraw and Donovan Gann and all that bunch. But yeah, they've turned it around. The very first game this season, they lost by 30 points, and I was like, here we go again. Because they only won, I think, 7 games last season.
Well, I mean, they were like 8-7, I believe, is what their record was.
They were 8-7,
and now they've won 6 in a row. I believe.
14-7.
Dude, that's incredible. There's not very many teams that could pull something together, and credit to Coach for being able to do something like that, because that's absolutely amazing. And also, they've only got 2 seniors on their roster,
right? Yeah.
So they've got plenty of youth. How old is Godfrey? Do you know which grade he's in?
He's a 10th grader.
He's a 10th, but that's what I thought.
Yeah,
dude, because I thought I seen him play in JV a little bit early this season, if I'm not mistaken, and now he's playing mostly varsity.
He's improved tremendously from last year. Coach Patton actually told us after the game against Oak Hill, their last game, that he is probably the most improved player by far.
He 100% is. The fact that you go from getting majority JV minutes, being a JV starter, to now being a varsity starter and a varsity star, that's not easy to do.
Right.
And the fact that he's doing it as a sophomore is a huge testament to how much longer East is going to be able to do this for years to come.
And it's not just improved from last year to this year. It's from earlier. It's from like 3.5, 4 weeks ago.
Until now. So
it's crazy how much he's improved, and he's kind of playing the role that Hannah Fuller's we were talking about playing for the girls. He's intimidating people when he gets an offensive rebound over and puts it back in with ease. They're like, daggone, we're going to play against him.
He's a big daggone boy, too.
They collapse on him. They kick it out to Dixon.
I'm content with watching him from the stands, too.
I don't want to mess with him.
Me neither.
So, they play Friday night, 7 o'clock, opening round in the regionals. If they win, they play the winner of Pikeview and... let me see if I can look it up. I know who it is. It's the Ripley, Pikeview and Ripley. Ripley's the number 2 seed, and East is number 3. So if East wins and Ripley gets upset, they'll play at East.
Okay.
If East wins and Ripley wins like they're expected to, it'll be at Ripley. So they'll have to win a road game to get to the state. But
gotcha. Well, I mean, the thing is, East isn't the team that they were at the beginning of the season. They've pulled things together, especially offensively.
I'm telling you, I have confidence in them. I think they'll give it a run if they can get to Charleston. I think they'll have a good shot.
Yeah, I was going to say, if worse comes to worse, I have them making it to Charleston. I don't know what the playoff bracket looks like in AAA right now, or heck, even single A, and that's what
they just crushed Shady Spring last week at home.
Yeah, and they're second in?
They were third. They were third in AAA, but they spent a lot of season ranked number 1.
Yes.
They've only lost 4 games in season 1.
21-4, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, they're tough. So East is peaked at the exact right time. That's what you want to see.
Exactly. So let's see. For the most part, a little bit of a inside thing. Exciting news for both East and West End sports being able to get their new court in, which is absolutely incredible. Love to see it. Yes. W. Yes.
I don't really know why. I didn't really think East needed one, because when they put that floor in, I don't know the year. It's probably been a decade or so ago, but the floor is the exact same floor that the Boston Celtics play on. So, but
I was wondering that. I looked at the court and I'm like, because they have the same color.
Even though West probably needs a new floor, I really like the looks of it.
Dude, I love it too.
That gym is really set up. You have to go up the stairs to get to it, and set up like on the mid level. So that's really cool. But yeah, congratulations to both schools getting that new equipment that they're going to be getting.
100%. I'm super excited to see. We'll talk a little bit, since we mentioned it earlier, about March Madness with West Virginia. So West Virginia right now, they're sitting at a 10 seed, and they're kind of on a downhill slope right now, which really stinks. But that also happens when you have Javon Small as the only scorer on the daggone basketball team. Right. It's going to drive me insane to watch this team for the next 2 or 3 weeks.
When they need Hansberry, Jonathan Powell, and Joe Yesufu to provide that extra scoring. And actually last night, they've all what I've read, they've all but solidified a tournament spot. If they beat Central Florida this weekend, I think they're locked. Even if they lose first round Big 12 tournament, they'll be locked because the bubble's very weak. You got teams like Arkansas and Georgia who aren't that great that are right there with them. West Virginia's wins are 10 times better than either one of those.
Oh, 100%.
They have 6 quad 1 wins.
Yeah. So. Yeah, 3, if not 4 of those. I know at least 3 because it's Gonzaga. Let me see if I can pull this off the top of my head. Gonzaga was number 3 whenever they played them.
At Kansas.
Yes, they got Kansas. They were 7 seed. Now they're unranked, which is absolutely insane.
Right. Arizona.
When Hunter Dickinson is your only score, then that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then they had one more as well. It was Iowa State. Iowa State.
Yep.
Yeah, those were their 3
top 10s.
3 top 10s. Right. Yeah, at the time.
Then Iowa State lost last night to BYU, who's on fire. Yeah. BYU might win the whole thing.
BYU's stupid. I don't understand.
They get on my nerves. I don't like them. I like their football team. I do not like their basketball team.
Exactly. Yeah, I was going to say I don't either. Well, and also back to Kansas. The reason why they're doing so bad right now is because they have nobody outside of Hunter Dickinson right now, and they are turning the ball over.
They do.
When you turn the ball over, I believe they've turned it over 20 times. Against, I believe it was Houston.
They're like Greenbrier West of college.
Yes, they're Greenbrier West of college, yes. Well, I mean, they had 20 turnovers and Houston only had 6. Kansas beat them in every other major category.
Right.
Shooting percentage, they shot 46 to, I believe it was 35. Free throws, they beat them on free throws. And there was one other, I believe it was rebounds. They beat them on rebounds as well. That's despite Houston being bigger than them.
Exactly.
It's like, what in the world, dude?
Yep.
How did you let a game spoil away by doubling the turnovers? But that goes to show you how important it is to not freaking turn the ball over.
Exactly.
And that's what, like you said. Yeah, well, I mean, that's what...
They almost beat West Virginia last night. That's several of them there at the end.
Dude,
but luckily, they regathered themselves. Javon Small, like you mentioned, took over, and that was it. And hopefully, they've solidified a spot.
I hope so, too. And, I mean, I love Javon to death. But the thing is, there's only so much he's going to be able to do at the end of the day. There's 5 players on the court for the other team. And if they quadruple team Javon Small and have 4 or 5 guys on him, nobody else is going to be able to do anything.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Hansberry, I've seen him try to develop his 3-point shot. He's shooting 29% last time I checked, a week ago.
Yeah.
So, that's not getting much better. Joe Yesufu is my biggest guy that needs to step up.
He's probably the key. When he plays well and shoots well, West Virginia is usually right there at the end.
He's fantastic at shooting threes, but he's got to learn that he's got to do stuff off ball, especially with DeVries out for the rest of the year.
And Jonathan Powell's hit that freshman wall kind of. He was pretty much on fire. Now, he played well last night. I think he had 10 points, a couple threes, so hopefully that gets him going again, get out of that, get past that freshman wall.
Yeah. I think Coach Darren DeVries looked at him and smacked him in the face a couple weeks ago because he was averaging 3 a game 2 weeks ago. And I'm pretty sure he looked at him and said, you need to listen right now because we can't have you having 3 points a game. I know you're...
There's one game he took 1 shot. He's 0 for 1. He can't do that. He's just going to have to, even if he has to force a couple. Him forcing, the way he can shoot it, him forcing is better than some people standing set.
Exactly. And one last thing, KJ Tender. I would love to see him pick up the pace a little bit more because he's the size of a guard that can shoot 3-pointers. Right. And he needs to be driving it into the lane. He shoots that floater pretty decent, but for a freshman that gets as many minutes as he does, he does not do all that good.
Yeah,
I mean, on the defensive end,
Mr. Basketball in Tennessee last year, he's I think it's all in his head. Once he gets more experience and gets a couple threes to drop, hopefully, if he gets any to drop, kind of like Sincere Harris.
Oh my gosh. I love Sincere to death.
I do too.
He's my personal favorite player in West Virginia because me and him play the same way. He started, I never started in high school because, I mean, clearly, but Sincere, he doesn't shoot the ball well, but his defense is phenomenal. But Duke can't play offense to save his life.
Yeah. I looked at the stats the other day, the top 20 most impactful defensive players in college basketball. They had Harris number 13.
He's number 1. I don't care what anybody says.
I wouldn't trade him for anybody.
I wouldn't
trade him for number 1 through 12.
No, I wouldn't. No.
Yep.
Absolutely not.
Yep.
Well, I think
we better wrap it up.
I think we did too, Brandon.
Yeah.
That was good for podcast episode number 1.
It was. I appreciate you coming through. I hope you can make it to all of them. We're gonna, bring in some guests eventually, and probably start a little live streaming eventually.
Let's go.
Once we get going, and that's how it's going to be. So here on the Greenbrier Valley Sports Talk through the West Virginia Daily News.
Yes, sir.
Hope everybody tunes in and we can provide some quality entertainment and maybe some laughs here and there.
Yeah, too. I hope so. I hope we can do at least a little bit to make y'all's day. But
all right, man.
This is Matthew Thomas.
Brandon Baker.
Signing off from Greenbrier Valley Sports.
Yes, sir. Thank you.